I didn't want to disturb your meditation. I wasn't sure what the practice was.
Well, sometimes at the end we'll have beings that express, you know, if Jesus has spoken to them, or we end in silence. It just depends on what's given each day. Yet, if you feel a question now, Nikki, you can ask it.
Thank you. I got that I was given examples of where I had chosen or pain, and first one got me out of going to something I really didn't want to do. I sprained my ankle the very night before, and I was on crutches for 1 day, and that was sufficient for my mother to tell me she was relieved and she didn't want to go either. And the next day I was okay, didn't need crutches and could drive. I still had a sprained ankle, but it wasn't impeding me anymore. So that was one example I was shown. Another was of shingles. I got shingles, which stopped me going to a psychologist I had chosen to see, and showed me how much I really, really did not want to go back. And I was grateful for it as a way to get out of things. And then I thought, oh, okay, this extends a bit farther. I have this urge in me to save the world, and I'd rather be sick than do that, because I don't want to do that. It gets me out of this compulsion to fix things, volunteer. It gets me out of all those things I don't want to do that that another part of my mind is saying, you should be doing this. How dare you be so selfish? And then he talked about reveling in sickness, and I could not connect to that. Is this when you ask to be shown, where you have that desire? Is it an abstract thing that you're shown, Kay? Or is it, like for me, examples of where I have chosen? Consciously or unconsciously?
It feels really beautiful what you're expressing, specific instances. It can be very, because he can give examples. Sometimes he gives examples here. Sometimes I just feel the energy, like he's saying, you really want this. It's like, oh yes, you're so right. You know, it's that kind of like, you know, it's been a lot of working and looking at pain as experience, and I can see why he's talking to me so directly about it, to really look at the desire for it and see the guilty pleasure in it. See, like you're saying, use how it's used by the ego, like the game. You said it so perfectly in what you described, at least in the experience here, where you said, oh, I think I have to do something. So the ego's favorite words are should.
Yeah,
have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so see how it plays it on itself, and then it says you should and whatever, and then it has to come up with a whole new experience to say no. When guidance itself probably would have just said, this is not for you. And that's why that whole thing of learning to follow Jesus is the get out of jail card, because then we don't have to go through any experiences to follow our heart.
But
when we really look deeply with Jesus, we see that it was all like a play, that nothing was really, that's the gift that he's offering. He's saying, you know, you're dinking around in consciousness, but really when you start looking and you see what's underneath it, how perfect you are and how happy you are, all of this idea that you've done something wrong or something bad happened, it just starts falling away.
Selfishness.
Come again, Nikki?
What's coming up is selfishness. How dare you be happy? The world is a mess. How can you possibly just sit there and be happy? You should be doing something about this mess. How dare you lay on the couch and watch a good movie? You're selfish, selfish, selfish.
Well, it's the voice of, I guess if I can share a thought on that, it's the voice of selfishness speaking. It doesn't, the question we're really asking here with Jesus is that voice true?
Oh, I know it isn't. I'm just grateful we've uncovered it today.
That's the happy laughter.
So I don't have to sprain my ankle or get shingles. I can ask for guidance. Okay, I like it. Well, I must admit that I didn't spot the shoulds going on, and I was grateful for this, the sprained ankle and the shingles, because I hadn't spotted it and I hadn't gone in and asked for guidance. Well, at that time I was a bit new to it. I wasn't doing the writing. So I'm still grateful that it happened.
It's really beautiful that you share. I don't know who was with if I mentioned this, but as a matter of interesting about ankles is last week I went to stand up and I couldn't feel my left leg at all in the play of consciousness for the desire not to feel my leg. That was a fun conversation with Jesus right there, I'll tell you. And so all of a sudden, like I just hit the floor basically, okay? And so then, of course, then it was these things around swelling of the foot and pain in the foot and hardly having a hard time to walk in. But we catch it. Now we're really catching it. It's like, I know this isn't true, Jesus, show me, show me. And so he went through each one. I'm thinking about it now. I can kind of laugh at myself a bit, because he's showing me you desired. This is a deep dive of these desires. You desired an experience of, quote unquote, hurting yourself. It's really humbling when he starts saying, but Jesus, I can't be the one really liking this pain, really. And I can just say from my experience over and over, he's like, oh, yes, you do. Just start noticing, go down, drill it down, go into the experience and just keep going down with it. Follow that pain back. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, there's some kind of wanting of this. That's my experience. I'm happy to hear anybody else say start working with Jesus, You just keep going down. So, I'm just going to start noticing on that, and I do want it. Oh, Jesus, I admit it. I really wanted that. I want that experience. And, and the funny thing too, because different things are coming out because I guess they just weren't in awareness now. And I feel like he's showing us how powerful we are. That's what's so unique about the Course, because there are a lot of non-dual paths, but the Course is the only one that I know of that said, well, very few, maybe there's one other teacher I've heard, you will transcend pain. There are many dual non-dual, you'll see that you're infinite being, but there's still, you still might have pain. Jesus going, no, you can completely, I feel happy just talking about that. I feel inspired, okay, Jesus. So now what if it comes up, like, give it to me. And I'll admit to all of you that, like, sometimes, like, I had a headache and I'm just going, I just want a friggin' aspirin. And it's not bad, but you start to see it won't even work because as the beliefs, aspirin won't work because once you start bypassing the belief in cause and effect, you can't go take an aspirin. You know where the solution is, and the solution's in the mind, and how much power and how much energy is abdicated into that experience. Like, it's a contraction that denies divine being. So it's like, oh, now I'm really looking. I don't care. I'm just going to look with Jesus at this. He's standing right next to me. I was thinking, like, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I didn't want to have anything to do with Jesus. But now I'm like, I'm so grateful because he is promising, and I'm seeing how we are going to transcend. I don't know about how you guys are feeling, but my life's only for this, transcending personal identity and pain and suffering. Like, we are divine, powerful beings, and that's what Jesus is calling us to, and I'm going with him as far as he'll take it. And my brother, whoever wants to come, jump in the boat. We're cool. All the way. All the way. I'm not going to be beholden to the idea I have of myself or the miscreation that I think of, that denies the Father anymore, So, yeah, everything's getting revealed. Very humble.
I'm feeling that I needed the pain to be real so that I would look and sound like I was in pain or sick, so that others would let me get out of things. I can see that purpose. I've been shown that purpose. Those four things: the shoulds, the selfishness. I had the purpose of getting out of things, that I'm not recognizing that I'm listening to a should. I'm not recognizing the voice of the ego there. I'm not asking for guidance. I can see that, and how it's got to be real, because otherwise I won't convince others.
Wait, say that last thing again, Nikki.
It's got to look real. It's got to hurt. I've got to look like I'm in pain, the grey face of pain. Otherwise, it won't convince others, and I won't be able to get out of things. So, but that other level you talk about of reveling in pain, I can accept that it has a purpose for me, that I've seen this purpose. But the idea of reveling in it it's like a level that there's nothing showing there. Does that matter?
For me, like that reveling, like when I trace it down, there is like, it's like this, I don't know, like there's this sense of like this evil, like I'm going to call it evil thought, but which I guess is sort of like the face of the ego going, see, I can really prove I'm right. I can really prove I'm right here. I really want to prove I'm right. I'm right. There's no God or I'm the creator. I'm the one. I'm the creator. I'm the king of the castle.
Yeah.
I'm the authority here, not you, God. I'm it. And see, I'm proving it. I'm suffering. I'm dark and vicious and in pain. And I'm a victim too. It's very twisted, but it's like.
It's so free.
Yeah, I sort of see that reveling. I feel I'm really up against this wanting to be a victim, and it's like a real stubborn holdout, like not wanting to give it up sort of thing. Like, it's really crazy, but.
Put it in the light.
It's by the grace of God that we see this is insane. Because I just thought that was the way it was. That's right, too. I thank you both, because what helped me see really so clearly, Nikki, from what you shared too, was, because Jesus would say, you believe your salvation lies in this. And he's saying that you believe anything that's showing up, there's like this subconscious belief that salvation lies in it. And I'm pretty sure he said this in the Course. I know he's pointed to, at least for here, so I can't always remember where it comes from, but that you believe salvation comes in pain. And it was very interesting. That was like a perfect example, Nikki, where you're talking about, in a way, you were saved, quote unquote, from seemingly something happening in form. And it's like, wow, that's really powerful to see that mechanism. Like, we think that somehow this is salvation. Like,
yeah, I've noticed that recently in myself. Yeah. It's like I got to a point where it's like I don't want to give this guilt up and everything because, like, I really think it protects me somehow. I don't know what the hell it protects me from, but I really think I need it for some that it protects me somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, like for me, it protects me from the world. It keeps me from going out. I don't want to go out there. Scary fucking place.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for this deep looking with him, because I just feel like these light circles just really help with that. Just like it builds that trusting relationship with him, and I see how we need that. We need that trust built so he can gently advise us, and then that builds more trust and more, and he's just gently, so that's the experience here. He like builds that dialogue till we actually, like in my experience, as I said, it's a hilarious video. I want to find, there's a couple of just really funny one, but it may not sound funny to watch a video on somebody talking about throwing up, but I was like, had thrown up and all this stuff, and then I did a video with Jesus while I asked him, and he's go, do I desire this throwing up? It's like, yes. Do I want this experience? Yes, you do. It's like, so it's right in the video. It's like, oh my God, yes, I do. Oh, I want so bad to throw up, and you realize, however that, conditioning was accepted in consciousness, it was right there in front of me, and it could have been too, some kind of conditioning from childhood that, I got sympathy. I think that's washed out. Because my mom was nice to me or something when I was young. I think that's gone. But I have a feeling, Nikki, there might be something underlying. There was underlying that about, people go away and leave you alone when you're throwing up. That kind of mechanism. Just go away. I want to be by myself and just be sick, or however that mechanism works to play the game in consciousness.
I'm interested that you said conditioning accepted, because some of this stuff can be very old and it really may not have a purpose anymore. It's just a habit. And so you can look at it with Jesus, and the old habit that no longer has a function can disappear. So it's not just a twisted ankle and shingles that have a purpose to get you out of something because of the crushing should that's sitting on your shoulders. But it could actually be so old that it no longer, the function's gone, but you still got the habit.
Well, and I guess the experience here with conditioning, because it's all the same, it's all a self-induced coma. It's all a self-induced dream of not being holy. So, you start seeing, however it works, the mechanism, that as soon as you go and see that desire, because we talked about it, it comes, there's a desire to play consciousness game, the game, the dance in consciousness, the dream in consciousness. There's this desire, and then the desire to play in it, and then have the good and the bad and the happy and evil, the immediate creation of duality. And now he's drilling down and go, okay, the only way those two things are going to come back together is one, by seeing that there's something here that's not two. And that's why the meditations are so valuable, like lesson 44. So then you're in this light circle experience where you're just noticing. We're really starting to notice in this light of divine being what's really here before time. A lot of Advaita points to this. This is powerful. In Advaita, they point, notice who's here. Notice what's here before you're born. Those kinds of, what are you? I am not a body, what are you? And that's for noticing that what's here is not an object. Not an object. So then you have that perfect peace experience, non-objective experience, in contrast to, I say to people, the desire to gel like Jell-O into an object, in which things in the world seem to be happening to you. So, and Jesus is going, okay, here's the opportunity. See that this light that's here, infinite light, is completely unaffected by these desires and beliefs and the play within consciousness, the desire to experience pain, the desire to experience suffering, and start seeing you have the infinite power. You created this little dance over here with the devil because you wanted to play with the devil, except you forgot you made the play with the devil. And so now you have to go down because you hid it from yourself in subconsciousness. You split out superconsciousness and subconscious mind, because consciousness is a whole thing. It's one. But it's playing in the appearance of fragmentation, all these little parts and pieces and conditioning, da, da, da. So he's just going, okay, now light, infinite light, see that you're that. That's why he has so many meditations in the Course. And then look at every denial that you're that over there. See, keep looking, he points, look over here. And that's what we're doing. And then he's using this like big eraser, that's experience here, going directly to desire, because desire's underneath belief. Beliefs generate, desire for experience, and it blows out the world. So at the desire level, you're really starting to go deep into the subconscious mind, to just completely uncouple the whole mechanism of Big Bang, or what never happened, as Jesus said, what can't happen. It's impossible. If we look at the world as light beings, which we are, the light of divine being, you can see nothing happened. Nothing's happening. It's just a habit of thinking there is something happening. It's a habit of wanting to experience something happening without anything happening. So, and I just feel like with this book, at least the experience here, at least it's given it to me. It's like, you are a divine being. Quit dinking around. That's what I feel like he's saying. What are you thinking around on that timeline for? You were made by God. So, but I can see it, I could see it. I like stretching it out on that timeline. Stretching it. So it's just a play, but we like it. We do like it. That's what I'm seeing. So that's why it's still here.
Okay, I'm not seeing that, and I'm having trouble with meditation, and have from the very beginning.
Well, I'll tell you what's profound, hearing from you, Nikki, on if in that meditation he spoke to you so clearly on those three things, that is profound for me. Anyway, I don't know what anything is, but that's very clear, profound seeing right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, the communication's happening, your communication is happening. You're getting real answers. They're not made up things. You're getting shown stuff. And that's really, really cool.
Yeah, I kind of, I have become aware of this before. I didn't quite get that selfishness should ego talk before, but I was quite blown away by how I managed to manifest a sprained ankle that lasted one day on crutches. Yeah, so I have been aware of it before, but it all kind of came together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of those really old shoulds that have been playing in my head my whole life, like, you're supposed to be saving the world, you selfish cow, get off the couch. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was writing beforehand in the Nicole Sachs process of letting the 5-year-old speak, and it turned into a question and answer about how to focus on the light. And one idea I had was of being grateful to those beings who were sufficiently devoted to turn up with UK And that helps. So I had an image of us standing in a circle, linked hands with all of them. I wasn't actually holding Jesus's hand because that's a bit scary, but it was a joined circle. I suppose that's a bit more progress than I had before.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you saying that you didn't want to have anything to do with Jesus, Kay, because like I'm sort of up against that, my split desire. Like when I was a kid, I was a real Jesus fan, but I never felt like I had any personal relationship with him. But like Sunday school and hearing about Jesus and getting the gospel show bag was like the highlight of my little dark world sort of thing. So it's interesting, and like I can really see this split desire. Like I don't want to have anything to do with him, yet I'm really jealous of people that have the real communication going on and hear him really directly and have really direct experience of him. So the desire is very split.
Yeah, I really understand that, because like for me to start saying to my family, oh, and by the way, I'm here. By the way, I'm hearing Jesus clear as a bell. You know, you just think about the world and you go, oh, that goes over, you know. Well, what I'm realizing, you know, he talks to me all day long. You know, they take people away for that kind of thing, you know, in form. And, but I'll tell you, and a lot of doubt thoughts, my doubt thoughts, because I was reading about Helen Schuckman, right? And I was reading the Earl text, and it said, oh my gosh, let me see if there's any energy around this. Oh, there's so much happiness around this. It's good to check in, though, because he said to her, you're embarrassed by me. And I saw when I read that, it's like, yes, I'm embarrassed by, and I don't want to tell people I'm talking to Jesus is talking to me all day, you know. And but now someone said, there was a so happy. This is so happy. Then I had a doubt thought. Somebody said, is she really talking to Jesus? And I asked Jesus this. Okay, how do you know you're talking to Jesus? You don't know you're talking to Jesus. You just recognize. And I'll tell you what I knew. It's like when I hear that voice, even talking about it, I'm like infinitely happy, like infinitely grateful. And it's Jesus says the whole course is about how do you feel? And talking to him, I feel infinitely happy. I mean, there was times I didn't want to hear a thing. It's like, will you just go away? I really, you know, I don't want to, as I said, I wanted nothing to do to him. He had to make it so obvious. It's so ridiculous what had to happen for me to finally admit he was talking to me. Like, you know, a crazy, all these, the most crazy adventures. Maybe I'll talk about it, that he sent me on these things that you can't, like an adventure to Jerusalem. He sent me to Jerusalem, all places, right? And like next week you're going to Jerusalem. What? Like 2 weeks. I was coming back on a plane from Portugal, and he says, oh, in 2 weeks you're going to Jerusalem. It's like, okay, you know, I said, okay, you know, you know, he had to work up to that. It's not like that's the first assignment. But I tell people this story. This is how this was. So I get to Jerusalem. I don't know where I'm going. I'm supposed to go. And I'm literally in that hotel room. I'm crying my eyes out that morning going, Jesus, look, I'm here. But I really don't, you know, I don't like traveling by myself, and I'm all alone. And this looks like a rough section of town where this hotel was. And I look down at my iPad like this to say, okay, Jesus, I'll go out, you know. I mean, I was like, I'll go out. I will, you know. I look down and I see the Garden Tomb. I don't know if you've heard of this place. But my whole body went, you know, you just know it. You know, it's like one of those things, you know. So it's like, okay, all right, Jesus, I'll go find the manager. I'm going to find out how to get there. You know, I look on the map. It's around choose any hotel in Jerusalem. This is the hotel. Like, to this, so many miracles happen in that. So anyway, I stand up. This is how quick it was. This is how obvious he had to make it, because I was like not having any. I was kind of tentative. At least I listened and went to Jerusalem. But anyway, so I get up and I go. I think I'll find the manager of the hotel and ask him, just to make sure, because I haven't a clue where I am and what's happening in Jerusalem. This is right outside the Damascus gate. It's so amazing. But anyway, so I stand up, walk down the hall. Here comes the manager like this, walking down the hall. And he goes, oh, I was just going to come get you because there's somebody I want you to meet. Come like 4 doors down, knock on the door. Hey, this is Jenny. Jenny's looking for somebody to travel with. Now get this one. Jenny listens to the Holy Spirit and follows the Holy Spirit. Now, come on, you guys. He goes, where are you going? I said, well, I'm going to the garden tomb. She says, I'll take you there. So 15 minutes, like from the time I said yes to, okay, I'll do it, Jesus. Like I had a travel partner. She's walking me into the garden tomb. Like it was so mystical. It's such an amazing place. You know, you don't know if Jesus died there, but I'll tell you what, so many miracles happened for me because I followed guidance to go there. So I'm like I'm sitting in front of that tomb 2 days later, like he had to make it really obvious. And he does it for all of us. I guess that's what I'm saying. I realize this whole message, the only reason why this is coming out of my mouth is because I see every being has this power unless we deny it. You know, he doesn't work in you're special. That's just not love's way. Because his voice is the voice of our true identity. It comes with the fact that we're born as light first. So we can all hear it. Like you heard it because you're on this call. Who wants to come on this call and hear about Jesus talking about you desire to have pain? You know, it's like you have to get on this call. You know, there's no way around it. So anyway, I got enthusiastic on that. But he really had to work hard, seemingly, because I was stubborn. I wasn't really, you know, going to pony up and start typing a book about Jesus, you know. It wasn't on the bucket list. It must have been. Must be desired experience. I don't know. But
I got to say goodbye, guys.
Okay, love you.
Got to run.
Yeah, so thank you. He carries us all. Love you. Bye. Does that help, Nikki?
It's a great story. What was the point?
Of this,
Got lost in it.
How we're carried by God when we follow guidance, for me. You know, that everything provided for. I just had to show up in Jerusalem. I had no plans. And 2 days later, I'm literally sitting in front of the opening of the way they think he might have come out of. So I'm sitting there thinking, boy, you know, how Mary Magdalene, she must have felt when she saw Jesus come out of that tomb. And somebody comes walking over to me and says, oh, because I was wearing a Wisconsin shirt. She said, oh, you're from Wisconsin. I said, yeah. And her friend comes walking up and says, yeah, we're taking a whole tour of the Holy Land. I rent a bus for 5 days for 14 people for a custom tour of the Holy Land. You want to go? And I thought, I'm sitting in front of this tomb. This has to be sent by Jesus. I have to say yes. I can't say no. You know? And they were all Messianic Jews, meaning they all believed in Jesus. They were Jewish, but they believed in the Jesus. So we sang holy songs on the bus and went touring around the Holy Land together. It was incredible. So it was and I needed that, you know, because I had so many doubts about it. But it's not just me, you know, this is our heritage. This is available for everybody. It really is. It's available. I'm seeing that. You know, this is the only equalizer this world can know. It tries to equalize through governments and through control and through laws. And the only thing that's absolutely equal is that we're all made of the same light. And we all have an equal chance. 100% chance of being light. It's more reliable than a lottery.
I like that.
You know, it's more reliable than winning the lottery. Like we're God, and then You know, it's not like a lottery we have to win. We already got it. We just have to quit saying no to it. Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, my resistance to the idea that I'm denying and saying no to this is cracking a bit. That doesn't trigger me so much, that the very words.
The very word, what, Jesus? Or
No, the very word that you desire this experience, that you're denying your identity. They don't trigger me as much as they did you earlier this week.
I love you so much, Nikki. I'm so grateful for you, really. You're like the symbol in my mind of the resistance, you know, that arises here, you know, however that shows up. I just see that trust with him now. You know, okay, Jesus, I know this is not real, and I know that I'm creating this experience, and help me, you know, show me the desire for it, you know, and therefore, because that openness, then it's easier to transcend, for me anyway, to just ask him and just feel that love that's there, you know, that we're so supported and loved in this, and that this voice is available to everyone. You know, it's like I showed this to, you know, my niece, the light circle, the kind of a little mini light circle with her. And when she put the trouble in the light, and then and I said, what happened? And she said, it melts trouble. You know, it's so simple and available to everyone. It's just the willingness. We can't overcome, Jesus can't overcome if we do not offer willingness. It's impossible. So if we're unwilling, yes, that will attach us. It's like stapling ourselves to a timeline. I want this timeline, Jesus. I see that. But it gets less appealing. It's less and less appealing. But like, yeah, the ego's going to throw a lot of stuff. Like it said, suspicious to vicious. But that's why we just keep coming together like this. You know, with this, you know, this convicted that, like, no, I'm not going to be sidewinded by the idea I have of myself anymore. You know, I'm just not going to buy into my own bait, because then you start saying, okay, I'm setting out bait for myself, then I'm biting it, then I'm mad that I bit it. That's why we're really funny when you start seeing it. It's like, oh, I just, you know, okay, you're right, Jesus. I wanted it, so it appeared in consciousness, in a dream. It just gets happier and happier every day. At least we're here going, okay, Jesus, you're right. You know, I didn't believe you were right, any shape or form. But it is the greatest comfort to open up to that voice that I thought was going to be horrible. Because the I is definitely going to think it's horrible.
Yeah.
But to our true identity, it's the most natural thing in the world to have that advisory board going all the time. Because then we truly can just go wherever we go and be told what to do and what to say, and it's relaxing.
Yes.
You know, it's really relaxing. Like I feel like my memory, like I just don't, I'm like a sieve. I don't, but then I see how being a sieve is really happy. Like all the people complaining, you know, and going about people with Alzheimer's, but if you look at, they're really happy not having a memory. The world's the one that's making that a problem. You know, one lady told me, Mom, yeah. So she said, my mom's been chirping like a bird outside. I said, that sounds wonderful. She said, you know, it really is. She's just as happy as she could be. It's, you know, that sounds really good. So I'm much, yeah, I don't hold on. I don't retain things. But I know I don't have to, because I just ask up. Jesus, I don't know what I'm doing. Tell me what I'm doing right now. Or a brother, it'll be mysterious. There'll be some kind of brother, like Judith will come up and remind me of something. Oh yeah, I needed to do that. You know, they'll like be a little angel that'll float by and let me know what I need to do next. So
I had that yesterday. They
Did you?
reminded me to get my clothes off the line. My little angel came down the passage and said, "Get your clothes off the line."
I love that. Muji says that the Holy Spirit will become your secretary. And it really gets to be the experience. Like, I will get a prompt. I don't have to think about it all month. And I'll just get a prompt. I'm walking down the street. Oh, yeah, time to get your phone renewed. Okay. It gets lighter. It gets lighter.
I had a strong urge to clean the windows and sweep the outer wall of the house. And then we got visitors. I thought, oh, great. All that housework I suddenly had a burst of energy for. I didn't have to drag myself through knowing I had to do it. It was already done.
Yeah. We hear spirit so much better than we give ourselves credit for. We really do. We really hear spirit, because no one takes the Course in Miracles who can't hear the Holy Spirit or have that call of Jesus in their heart and can hear Jesus. Because Jesus' number one thing about following the Holy Spirit is to forgive. So you have to be following Spirit to forgive, they're just moments where the ego rises up and then we doubt that we can hear.
Yeah.
Jesus is saying, and it doesn't make it true that you can't hear me unless you don't want to, which he's told me many times. You don't want to hear me, I can't break in. So it's just saying yes. Like, all right, Jesus, I'll start listening. Then you don't want anything else than that voice. That other voice becomes, like you're saying, you start catching it. The experience, you catch it. All right, I see whose voice this is now, that I'm following down the rat hole.
Yes, it doesn't feel good. That's a big, big clue.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's possible to be right in it and not see it for a long time. Like that your job is, you're so selfish, you should do this. It's possible not to see it until afterwards. And then I thought, wow, look what I manifested so I could see this.
That's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it's like heaven celebrating.
But I think what you said was the important missing element, was that you don't have to do that in order to get out of things. You can ask Jesus, is this what you want me to do? You can ask for guidance. Yeah. First of all, I'd recognize now that the ego is telling me, you should do this, you selfish. You know what? You should do this. And then the second step is, oh, okay, let's extend love to that thought, or put it in the light. And then the next step is, well, what would you have me do, Jesus? So it's like a 3-step process. So thank you for the third step. I don't have to do this to get out of things. I can ask for guidance.
Well, and I'll say one thing that's been my lesson really deeply lately, and that is, he's helping me see truly when I'm saying yes or no to something, what am I really saying yes or no to? Like I mentioned with the purchase of the property or whatever it is. Like he said to me, I was just going to go have a piece of toast or a piece of bread. I was just taking a bread out to have a bread. And I heard Jesus say, okay, go join with Judith. You need to be joining with Judith on what you're going to be eating. And it's like, I'm not really that hungry and I'm just having a piece of toast. And I think before I would have said, what the hell? Why am I being asked to do this? But now, like, there's such a trust that we're not saying yes to the toast. We're saying yes to the expression of divine nature, as Jesus knows how we can express as divine beings. And so then I realized what the yes is to. It's not yes to yes having toast, no having toast, or yes or no to meeting with Judith. It's he's teaching me how to be totally in the lane of the expression of light, infinite light, to express without being an ego, to follow the light. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever, but it's starting to make a lot of sense to me, because that voice is my true voice that knows what's best for me. And so when I follow it, I'm following through on what's best serves the whole.
Ah, yes.
As a
Got it.
divine being, it's an expression of divine being. Whereas before, under the authority problem, where I wouldn't follow Jesus or, so independent, I didn't see that independence was the very mechanism that was keeping a personal identity and making me feel separate from myself.
Okay. So you actually have to just follow to find out,
Yes.
to develop this trust.
Yes.
And greater awareness of what it actually means.
Yes, that's the experience here. Without and I'm learning from him, he doesn't have a why. The K would always have a why, something has to be a certain way. And he's really teaching me to drop the why. Divine being doesn't need a why for anything, a reason, because it is. So that's very helpful to see Jesus doesn't have a why other than this is what's most helpful for expression of your divinity, for your true happiness. And it bypasses, like you're saying, the idea that there's someone else that you have to make happy by saying no to or yes to, It just bypasses all of that. And you just stay with him, because that's your true being talking to you. And you're just staying with your true infinite nature.
Yes, I've just recognized the element of people pleasing in that whole getting sick, hurting myself scenario. Okay, my love, thank you so much for...
Love you too, Mike, if you're still on. Thank you for bringing your light here with us, Nikki, and your beautiful expressions.
Thank you, Kay.
Good night.
Love you.